Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. And also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? The holidays are coming, and what better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809. That's 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. And also, don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms: Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise at themikewagnershow.com. Also, check out t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Makes great gifts 24/7. Check out Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and a lot more, and great books by me and Molson Zia, go to Amazon.com and check out the Me and Molson Zia store. Make sure you order it today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show with your generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Anchor FM/support and PayPal.me/Mike Wagner voiceover or the Mike Wagner Show, and check it out today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who is a veteran New York, New Jersey bass player from the New Jersey Bass Academy. He'll tell you more about that. He's played with great legends like Tom Jones, Clarence Clemens of the E Street Band, studied with Jaco Pastorius of Weather Report, and talks a life of music and lifetime accomplishments. And he'll be playing some of his tunes during the show and live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios somewhere in beautiful downtown New Jersey. The terrific member of the New Jersey Bass Academy, ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented John Thompson. John, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me on the show. I'm stoked.
Oh, it's great to have you on as well, too. And, just a lot of rave reviews. And you've been a veteran New York, New Jersey bass player for quite some time. You come from the New Jersey Bass Academy. You've played with great legends like Tom Jones, Clarence Clemens of the E Street Band, one of my favorites, and also stay with Jaco Pastorius of Weather Report. And also you have pretty much a lifetime of music under your belt as well. And before we get started, tell us how you first got started, John.
Well, I first got started because my parents liked variety shows.
Oh,
so
really?
When I was a young kid, yeah, there was always something great going on. So shows like Liberace and Lawrence Welk, and then it was the country stuff, that they used to watch all the time, the Grand Ole Opry, and just a big hee-haw, big variety.
Oh my gosh, I love hee-haw. That's great. Buckle is one of my favorites.
Actually, my first influence was Roy Clark.
Oh yeah, Roy Clark. Who can never forget him? Yesterday when I was young.
He used to come in. I used to sit there and wait for him to come out just to see what instrument he'd play next, because he played everything. I mean, banjo, mandolin, guitar, and he was a comedian on top of it. So, yeah, I really loved Roy Clark.
Oh my gosh. I mean, his memory and music just lasts forever and ever. Amen. I mean, just such an amazing guy. And it's like great stand-up comedy. It's like, it's too bad I can't find a lot of it these days as well, too. And also, what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your life?
The Beatles, Ed Sullivan. When they came on, I mean, it was just magic. And, I saw all the screaming girls, and I loved the music and the anticipation and the buildup of them being on the show. And right after that, I was like, I knew that's what I want to do.
Huh, that's really interesting. Who is your favorite Beatle?
Well, actually, it's funny because my favorite Beatle was Paul McCartney, but I didn't know the difference between a bass and a guitar at that point. I just thought they all played guitars. I mean, I knew the drums, So, yeah. Yeah, so Paul actually being a bass player actually was my favorite Beatle. Of course, I love them all. I mean, John is just the opposite of Paul. So, I just love them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also got George being the quiet Beatle and Ringo just being standoffish. And, I got to say this, George is very quiet, and Ringo, a little bit of a comedian himself on drums and also on stage too. So it's just like he throws a little personality in the mix.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, and back then, those songs, I listened to those songs and I was like, man, I can't figure these things out. And it's because the chord structures were so, they were just intense. What could I say? One of the greatest of the 20th century, Lennon and McCartney.
hmm and also too, I was watching a documentary about the Beatles as well with Lennon and McCartney. It's like back in the day where it's like a composer, a singer would just hand the musicians the sheet music and say, "This is how I want you to play it." With Lennon and McCartney, they pretty much run the show and just do things on the fly, and they actually did it where it just revolutionized the music industry forever. I mean, they're just simply groundbreakers.
Oh yeah. And we can't forget George Martin, because George Martin was the fifth Beatle. So I give him I give him big kudos. So
And of
yeah,
course,
George Martin.
everybody thought Stu Sutcliffe was the fifth Beatle, but yeah, George Martin was definitely it. So,
Yeah. Yep. You got to have a great producer. He knew how to make records, and the records that they were making the records that he was making were way superior to anybody else. I mean, even over in England, like when I first heard the Stones, I thought they were a crappy band. What did I know? I thought they were a crappy band. The recording sounded pretty crappy compared to the Beatles. So,
mhm. And I think too, back in the day where they just had inferior equipment, I think it was George Martin or somebody else came up with the British sound, where they just like somebody adjusted the EQ and make like nice, warm, lush, mellow. And the Beatles used it. One of the first bands to do so, and that too changed the course of music history.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yep. And if it wasn't for Les Paul, we wouldn't have multi-track recorders or any of this great music. So I want to send out to Les Paul for creating the multi-track recorder.
Mm. Oh yeah, and it's using GarageBand and just like everybody else today. That's so amazing. And who are some of your other favorite artists, singers, and musicians growing up, John?
Oh, there's a whole list. Yeah, can I play a little bit?
You sure can.
All right, like some of the first stuff that I heard when I was growing up, like this one here. Now that was a bass line to Get Ready.
Oh yeah, I remember
Get
that
ready,
one.
'cause
Yes.
here I come. I'm not much of a singer. That's one, Get Ready. When I first heard, the Temptations, they were one of my favorites. The first time I actually noticed the bass was My Girl. Now that line was actually the guitar part, but if I didn't play that, you really wouldn't know it was My Girl, because that's the hook line. That's what everybody hears. The bass was just. Very simple, very simple. And of course, that was, I was being influenced by James Jamerson, and, James Jamerson was on those tracks. So the early Motown stuff, I had a friend who had an older sister, and she used to grab us and bring us into the living room, and she showed me how to dance, and she showed me how to feel the beat and how to feel the rhythm. And once I could do that, I was really, really enjoying the music, even before I could play it. I never, I didn't play those songs when they first came out. I was a little My Girl and all of that, the Temptations. And then later on, the great bass line to, oh gosh. that's a bass line to oh gosh, now it escapes me, but all of these great bass lines from back during the Motown era really, really infused a lot of rhythm in me. So yeah,
Also,
so I was listening to that at the same time I was listening to the Beatles.
I remember too that one of the more famous ones, you hear Another One Bites the Dust. That was actually a bass line to who's making love to your own sweet baby. I thought it was the Blues Brothers, but it was actually Sam and Dave. Back in the day, that was like the original one. That one stood
Sam
out.
and Dave?
Yes.
The
Who's making love your own sweet baby? Do do like that. Yeah.
yeah. See, there's a slight delay. That's why musicians can't play over Zoom, because there's a slight delay. And if you were playing the guitar and I was playing the bass right now, we wouldn't be able to hook up. But yeah, I was heavily influenced by James Jamerson and also Carol Kay, listening to all of the themes, like she was on Hawaii 5-0.
Oh yeah.
And just a ton of music, all the Beach Boys stuff. I listened to the Beach Boys. Beatles were my favorite, but I listened to the Beach Boys, and I came up in such a great time. I mean, it was actually pretty crazy music wise. And of course the Stones, loved the Stones back then. And I was also getting into some of the blues, Just simple. Simple blues bass lines like that. So, and I didn't know anything about music. I just picked up stuff by ear. So I was just learning from the records, and I didn't know what a C scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I didn't even know what that was at the time. And another great blues bass line. That's another great blues bass line. So yeah, so I was listening to the blues and listening to the B.B. King, and listening to all the walking stuff, but I was just being influenced by it. I couldn't do it back then.
Mm-hmm. I also thought about this too, since one of the subject of the bass players. I also thought about John Entwistle. It's like going to another genre. It's like something I read too about John Entwistle. He actually wrote 5 sets of bass strings playing My Generation, just like whack them like rubber bands. I mean those Rickenbach bass strings were strong, but oh my gosh, he was a monster that replaced 5 sets during that song My Generation.
Right. Yeah, he was something. He really hit that bass. That he definitely did. He was just all over it. And the thing about John Entwistle is, I believe, and if anybody's wrong, they can, they can email me hate letters or whatever. But I think he is the only bassist to have a bass solo on AM regular mainstream radio. And Pete Townsend wasn't a lead guitar. He didn't really even want to play lead guitar. I mean, Pete Townsend said when he heard Jimi Hendrix, he said, "That's it. I'm never going to play lead again. I'll never be that good." So he never played any guitar solos, but he was a master of the chords.
Oh, and no question.
And that's really more in depth than just playing some crazy solos. But John Entwistle used to be featured in on the tracks, doing his stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Entwistle was something. Yeah,
who are some other favorite bass players growing up?
Oh gosh, well, bass players. It wasn't till, I would say next after Jameson and Carol Kay, and then when Entwistle and the Who came out, that was a little bit later on. After that, let me think. So who was after that? Basically, that I hooked onto. Oh, so I hooked onto Larry Graham from Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, okay.
From the Weather, from what is it? Anyway, from Woodstock, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started hearing this. And I'm saying to myself, what is that? Stuff like that. And I'm like, how is he getting that sound? And I went to go hear a local band, and there was a guy named Bruce Shea, and he was doing it, and he was playing like that. And then I saw Larry Graham playing like that, and I was like, oh, I got to learn that. I got to learn how to do that. So that's where the whole thump and pop and, where you thump the string down and then you pop it like that. That's where that came from. There were people slapping the bass before that. Elvis's bass player.
I remember the slapping. It was like the it was the stand-up bass. There you go, boom, boom, going like that. And those interesting story about Elvis Tuning. I had that boom chicka boom thing, and I was watching the movie, and I think it was what was it with one of the Phoenix? I think it was Joaquin or. Yeah, I think it was Joaquin. One of them died. I can't remember, but Elvis was walking through downtown Memphis, and he saw a shoe shine boy, and he goes with the with the shoes, and that's how I got the boom chicka boom sound. He was actually watching a guy shine shoes and had that sound to it, like boom chicka boom. It's like the shining of the shoes. And I thought that was just so amazing. And I mean, you get ordinary sounds just by going out in the street or listening, or even get like some machines you hear in the factories or manufacturing and all that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can get so many sounds and originate into music.
Yeah. Who was it? Bernard Purdy, the famous drummer who's been on thousands and thousands and thousands of recordings. I think there was a story where he said he used to watch women walk. And he'd stand behind women and watch them walk. And he'd imagine what drum beat would go with their walk. Some would be walking faster and have a different groove, and some would be slower. And you can. It's life. Music is life. Mm-hmm. Music is alive, and I truly believe that music is alive, and music has a life and a spirit of its own, because it calms and soothes and brings enjoyment to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And certainly does too. And another bass player that really came to mind, I had him on my show, and he's been on thousands lately too, to his own YouTube channel, Leland Sklar, and he's done over 2,000 artists, going from like with Phil Collins, and then you had James Taylor, and they had the what was it, the Russ Kunkel section, and then you also had oh my gosh, it was like a King's Scroll of having over 2,000 people he played for us. As an amazing guy.
Yeah, I follow Leland. I watch him all the time. And it's funny that I was super influenced by him without even knowing it. I had a gig with a piano player by the name of Jim Nuzzo, brilliant guy. And he was the one that got the sessions with Clarence Clemens, but we'll get into that later. But Jim Nuzzo, fabulous keyboard player, kind of took me under his wing and showed me some things. And we did thousands of recordings together, and this is basically the bass that I used. But anyway, the story about Mr. Sklar was we used to do all of the James Taylor, and we used to do all of the Jackson Brown, and all of that kind of stuff. And I was learning his bass lines, but I had no clue who he was. You know, back then, you know, you had to dig in, you had to buy the album, you had to read the liner notes to, you know, to find out who the musicians were. And what a great section they were out there. Oh, they just produced some phenomenal records. Oh, yeah. And of course he plays with Phil Collins, and he's just world class, and just the creativity to come up with the bass lines that he did to make that music so beautiful is just amazing. And my hat's off to Leland, man.
Mm-hmm. Just a fantastic guy. And of course, for all the Leland Sklar fans, this is a way of saying I love you. Goes like this.
Yeah. He's a trip.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's for all the Leland Sklar fans out there. And of course, you talked about Clarence Clemens and the E Street Band. We'll talk about those guys as well, along with Tom Jones and Jaco Pastorius, a weather report, and more. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SoundCloudStudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Z has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson Z, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? You got to figure that. Holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms: Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today, and check out the merchandise at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Amazon as well, too. The Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, hoodies, and a lot more. Makes great gifts year-round, including Christmas time. Also, check out the great books by me and Molson Z, including Missing, Once, and more. And also great merchandise as well, too. Go to Amazon.com/me and Molson Z. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and give generously. Also support us on Anchor FM/support and PayPal, and make sure you do so today. And we love to hear from you. We're here with a very multi-talented bass player, John Thompson from the New Jersey Bass Academy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk more about Clarence Clemens and more, and tell us about the New Jersey Bass Academy. This must be a terrific institution.
Well, NJ Bass Academy came about because of the pandemic. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to build a site where I could have video lessons with music and tablature written to help people become more proficient at the bass. So I did a quite a few videos for that. I think there's probably like 60 or 70 videos of
Oh,
all
wow.
scales and arpeggios and different things that people could go to and for a nominal fee and have access to all of that information. And that's over at Patreon. That's NJ Bass Academy at Patreon. So if you want to go over there and check out my bass lessons, yeah, that would be cool. That's how it basically started. And I started doing some videos and I started doing some live loop.
Mm-hmm.
I have my looping machine over here. I have my keyboard set. I have a couple of pedal boards underneath. And I started doing videos there. So, yeah, NJ Bass Academy on YouTube. I think there's about 130 videos there. So,
Wow, that's amazing. And of course, people can subscribe to the NJ Bass Academy. And do you also offer private lessons and tutorials and also Zoom calls as well, too?
oh yes. All they have to do is email me. In any of my videos, I have my link tree, and that's where all my social media is. So all you have to do is go in the description section of the video, click on my link tree. You have my email address. Anything I can do for anybody, I'm here to help, whether it's cover a subject on my Monday night live show, which I go live 7:30 every Monday night, and you can call in and chat and all that kind of good stuff too. So I got a lot going on over at NJ Bass Academy, so check it out.
We certainly do so as well, too. And of course, let's get back to, we work with some great people. You mentioned some of the legends that you emulated, and you also play with Tom Jones. You play with Clarence Clemens of the E Street Band, and also Jaco Pastorius of Weather Apart. And tell us about those three guys.
Well, before we do that, I mean, I just want to back up just a little bit, and I just want to tell people that actually all through that whole thing, I was also listening to the Allman Brothers. All of that stuff, and also Led Zeppelin, of course. Okay. I had to make sure I threw in my heavy metal stuff that I was listening to, because when I got turned on to Jimi Hendrix RU Experience, it just totally blew my mind.
What?
But anyway, okay, so let's get back to the question.
You know something? Since you're on the subject of heavy metal and you threw that in there, how about some Black Sabbath for us? It's like, I'm sure you got people hearing Sabbath.
They had some bad riffs, Black Sabbath. Man.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you listen to that, it's like, oh, how do they do that? Tony Iommi. Oh, what a genius. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the bass on all of that stuff, was just pretty incredible. Yeah, so I don't listen to too much of that. I like Metallica and stuff too, but I just had to throw the heavy metal side in, just a little bit, I mean, my preference is jazz music, but
Mm-hmm. And it's perfectly okay too. And of course, let's get back to talking about what we mentioned before too, like with Tom Jones, Clarence Clemens, and you also study with Jaco Pastorius from Weather Apart.
Yeah. So the Clarence Clemens story. Do you want the long version, or you want me to keep it short? How far should I go into this?
Let's see.
Let me try and make it medium sized. Okay, perfect. I spoke about my friend Jim Nuzzo before, and how we were doing all this stuff, and how I was heavily influenced by Leland Sklar and didn't even know it. But anyway, he's just an amazing musician, an amazing piano player, amazing singer, and we were a session group at a Long Branch, and we did sessions for everybody that was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We were the rhythm section on Backstreets is first. We played on their first single. They didn't even play on it. And just all kinds of artists that were coming up at that time. It was really, really incredible. Producers were Dennis Burke and Stevie Betts, and they were heavily into the Jersey Shore thing. So, long story short, because we were the session guys that played on all of these tracks, they hired us to do a show at Big Man's, which was Clarence Clemens' club back at the time. And we would go in there frequently and see bands, and we'd see Bruce, and he'd be hanging out and stuff. Anyway, checking out the band. So we were the rhythm section that played behind a lot of those acts. So that's how we got in touch with Clarence. And it's funny because I recorded Christmas songs with Clarence Clemens.
Huh.
Yes, it's a song called "There's Still Christmas," which was an original composition, and it was by Stevie Betts and Dennis Burke, the producers, and Clarence loved it, and he did chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Oh my gosh, that's everybody's favorite. Yours truly.
Yeah. So if you want to just Google "There's Still Christmas," Clarence Clemens, and the recording will come up. It's pretty big. Bruce really didn't want to have anything to do with it, so let's just leave it at that.
That's
so
fine.
It never really got promoted, but once a year, hey, if I hear it on the radio, I get rewarded.
Nice little Christmas gift. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Clarence.
Yeah. So anyway, so we were the session musicians. So of course we went into KGM recording studios in Philadelphia, world-class studio. And we go in and we record all of our tracks ahead of time. So we're hanging out in the control room. And we knew Clarence was going to show up, so we were kind of all excited. We wanted to, meet Clarence and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting on the couch and we're kind of being quiet, waiting for him. All of a sudden, the lights go out in the main room of the studio. And in walks Clarence. And he turns on this switch. And there's a music stand there, and it has all Christmas lights all around it. And Clarence is in a complete Santa Claus suit.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything. The head thing, the big Santa Claus coat, the seat, and everything. And the first track he cut was Chestnuts. And boy, oh boy, we were just sitting in that control room listening to his big, huge sound. And it was just amazing. Just amazing. Wow. And then he sang the song "There's Still Christmas," and he's got a really big, burly voice, really round sounding. So it's really beautiful. No, it was it was fun. And then he came into the control room and he met us all and he hung out and laid down on the couch and listened to the tracks back, and he was really sweet. And that's what I remember. He was just a great person.
Oh my gosh, it does sound very heartwarming. I gotta say that. And of course, let's talk about your other two as well, too, including studying with Jocko as well.
All right. Well, that's a long story. I'll just breeze by my musical education quickly. I was touring with a band and we were doing an Earth, Wind and Fire show. And we were doing all the latest funk hits, like the songs that I was playing before. And we traveled all over the country. And then I decided, after meeting the horn players in the band, they were from Berklee College of Music, and they were just phenomenal. And one of the guys brought me in to New York City, and he got me a couple of albums. One was Kinda Blue by Miles Davis, Stan Getz, John Coltrane. And when I listened to that, I was like, oh my God, I better learn how to be a musician if I'm going to do this seriously. So anyway, I went to a place in New York City, a private school, which is now called the Collective. So I want to give a shout out to the Collective, and this is all connecting. So I did all kinds of big band and sight reading, and that's where I learned how to read. And that's, I had a private teacher, Rich Samelin, who had his master's degree. And after that whole thing, the director of the school, John Castellanos, became a good friend of mine. So now let's go on to the Jocko thing. So years and years go by after I'm out of school, and I played all around Manhattan, the Village Gate, the Village Vanguard. I was in a Latin jazz ensemble. I played NYU. I played Waldorf Astoria in New York. So after doing all of these gigs around the city while I was studying, I decided, well, now it's time to get into another band. So I hooked up with a guy named Benny Troy, who some say started disco. I don't know. But anyway, he was a recording artist, and we were doing Frank Sinatra. We were doing a Motown show, and we were doing all of the big casinos and all of that. We were the second band to be at resorts. So playing all of that music. Then I heard that Jocko was in town. Now, yeah. Now, when I first heard Jocko and he started ripping off stuff like Donna Lee, like, and he started just going crazy with stuff like that, And he's playing all these Charlie Parker things. I just wanted to play it again because I played it so sloppy the first time.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Anyway, when I first heard Donna Lee, and then I started hearing Jocko, and Jocko was really big at the time, and he was in Weather Report. And I actually studied with Miroslav Vitos before I studied with Jocko, and Miroslav Vitos was the original bass player for Weather Report. Back in the day. He was on the first 3 albums, and he's also the chair at the New England Conservatory. So anyway, I was studying with Miroslav, and he was just like way over my head.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now years later, I'm so into Weather Report and Alfonso Johnson, and then Jocko, of course. So I found out Jocko was in town, so this is all going to come together. So I found out Jocko was in town. Now, he did a bass video with another famous bass player. So I went to go study with him in the city. Jerry Jamont. So I went to go study with Jerry Jamont, and I said, "Hey, Jerry, I know you just did this video with Jocko." I said, is he in town? Is he available? He goes, "Yeah, man, I'll hook you up with Jocko. Come back next week." So I come back next week, I get my lesson. I do my lesson. I say, "Hey, man, you got to hook me up with Jocko." "Yeah, man, no problem."
Yeah, man.
Come back next week. Come back next week, So after about 6 weeks of come back next week, I said, all right, he's not going to hook me up with Jocko. So I go down after my lesson, and I'm all disappointed. I'm not going to get to meet Jocko. And I just decide out of the blue, I'm going to stop at the Collective and see my good friend, John Castellanos, who's the director of the big bands and all that. So I go in there, and I'm telling him this whole story about how I studied with Jamont, and he wouldn't hook me up with Jocko. And he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, "John." And I looked at him, and he goes, "Jocko's teaching here."
Oh,
"What?"
my goodness.
I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, Jocko's teaching here. You want to study with me? You want to study with him? No problem. I'll hook you up with him. Leave me a deposit." So I left him a deposit. He got back to me, and the rest was history. And then I went in there, and when I first met Jocko, my knees were shaking, my hands were sweaty, and the only thing I could say to him was, "My name is John, and I play bass." And he looks down at me. He goes, "Yeah, me too." And he shook my hand. And I thought he was goofing on me. Right away, I thought he was goofing on me. Long story short, after the lesson, I'm going home thinking about it. And I go, "Yeah, his name is John Francis Pastorius." So his name is John, and he does play the bass. And he wasn't really goofing on me. So anyway, so I thought that was cool. So I said, man, I'm really, really nervous. He goes, yeah, I know, man. Your hands are really sweaty. He goes, and he was huge, and his hand just engulfed me. And he puts his arm around me. He goes, bro, come on in, hang out. What do you want to learn? So so I had a bunch of great lessons with Jocko. I would take him home. I had a car, so he always put me last, and he would always go over in the lesson, like until he made sure that I knew what everything was going on and how to do everything. And then he would say, "So you're going to take me up to who was it at the time? Kenwood Denard, the drummer." He goes, "So you're going to take me up to Kenwood's, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Jocko, sure. I take you every week, no problem." So the last time I saw Jocko, he stuck his head in the window and he said, "Man," he says, "I'm going to California." He goes, "You're the only student that I have that did everything I asked you to do. I mean, you did everything." Because you inspired me to start practicing again.
Amazing.
And of course,
wow.
my eyes were like wide open, because this was after Jocko's demise. He had just gotten out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. So the Jocko that I studied with was Professor Jocko. He was perfectly straight. He was perfectly sane. Everything was great. When he got out of the hospital, he was just fantastic. So he said, when I get back from California, we're going to get into it. We're really going to get into the stuff, but he didn't say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time I saw him.
Wow. That is something. That is so amazing. We're here with John Thompson from the NJ Bass Academy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about, what's coming up for John as well, too, and I can tell he's ready to get on the keyboards and more, we're going to take a quick time out. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's You Have Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. We'll be back with John Thompson from the NJ Bass Academy after this timeout. This edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with the multi-talented John Thompson of the NJ Bass Academy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a great story to hear, from a veteran bass player, talking about the legends he's worked with and stories and emulating everything. And of course, right now he's got some keyboards with and demonstrated a few licks. And go ahead and play something for us, John, before we go. We'd love to have you back on in 2021 and beyond.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. So this is basically what I do. I have the keyboards here. So let me see if I can, I'm just going to improvise something a little bit, but could you give me just 1 second to switch over basses?
Absolutely, yes.
I will tell you a little bit about Tom Jones. When I was working with Benny Troy and we were doing all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway, so we were doing that kind of stuff. And we were playing at the Concord in the Catskills, and Tom Jones was in the other room. He was in the main showroom. So we did some Tom Jones. So, we didn't know how the show was going. So it was our last set. So we decided to break out into It's Not Unusual. So
my gosh. Love Tom Jones. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That song.
All right, and Benny could do Tom really, really good. So anyway, so he breaks into Tom Jones. And in the middle of the song, we look down, and Tom Jones is sitting 3 seats back, right in the middle while we're doing the song. Long story short, he stayed for the whole set, had a bottle of Dom Perignon, and then he got up on stage after but they cleared the lounge out. He got up on stage, and we jammed till 3 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing. Tom just kept going and going, and he told us Elvis stories, like the real Elvis stories. That was pretty amazing. All right, I'm ready to go here. Let's see. All right, now as you see, I have a 6-string bass, and that's influenced by all my jazz fusion chicoria and John Petitucci. Actually, that's why I kind of got this bass. So anyway, let's see if I can do something here and live and not make a fool out of myself.
Don't worry about it.
Let's get a drum going.
Wow. Unbelievable. That was amazing. And what's the name of that song, by the way? Oh, we got more. Okay.
I got a sticky note. Hang on a second. There you go. I knew that was sticking. I did one of the tracks with the strings, and I heard it sticking, so I had to shut it off. But that's the kind of stuff I do, just mostly improvising. I come up with a bass line. And then if bass students want to know, geez, what the heck are you playing over that? Then I'll analyze it and kind of go over some stuff. So that's basically what I do on Monday night. Sometimes the loops go great, and sometimes they're a bomb. But you know what I mean? That's all in improvisation.
Oh, that's so amazing! My goodness! And where can we check out your podcast at? By the way,
well, my podcast is a Monday night, and it's 7:30, and it's only on YouTube.
It is YouTube, okay. And where can we check out the NJ Bass Academy?
NJ Bass Academy is on a few different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and also Patreon over there where I have my lessons, and you could subscribe. And I also have my PayPal link. I don't make any money doing these things, so if anybody wants to donate to the show, it's in the description below in any of my videos.
Make sure you do so today and show love for John Thompson, veteran bass player out of New York, New Jersey, from the NJ Bass Academy here on the Mike Wagner Show. John, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing, and looking forward to having you again soon. Just make sure you keep this up to date. Love you back on 2021 beyond. And what can we expect from me in the future?
Well, just more of the same thing. And if anybody wants to learn, I'm here.
Okay, we'll do so. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Current?
In your career, yes.
Oh, well, just everybody, man. I'm just influenced by everybody. Everything that I've ever learned in my life, every bass line, every funk line, every heavy metal line, every Motown line, it's all just all inspiration. I mean, the greatest guys now, Victor Wooten, John Petitucci, Gary Willis. I can just go on. Billy Sheehan. There's just so many. There's this new cat, Charles something on the internet, who's just mind-blowing. And there's just so many great musicians. I just love the YouTube. I'm getting to see bass players all over the world that are phenomenal. It's just really amazing. And I'm happy to be a small part of it.
And very phenomenal indeed you are, John. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
If you're a musician, be prepared. Somebody once told me that, a great bass player named Tony Cimarosi, and be prepared. Be prepared. That's the main thing.
And that's very important as well, too. Once again, veteran bass player John Thompson from the NJ Bass Academy here on the Mike Wagner Show. John, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on 2021 and beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Or can people simply just check out your works?
Well, in any of my videos, just go to the description section and click on my link tree, and that has everything that you need.
That sounds perfect. Once again, John, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021, and don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific. We wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. Appreciate it.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.